All right, let's talk about something that could totally change the way you learn a language. Seriously, it's like a cheat code, and today we're going to break it down. Let's jump right in.
Okay, let me ask you something. Have you ever been there? You're putting in the hours, you're studying like crazy, but you just feel stuck, like you've slammed right into that language learning wall. It's super frustrating, and trust me, you are not alone in feeling that way.
I mean, you've done everything right, haven't you? You've got stacks of flashcards, hundreds, maybe even thousands of words. You stared at grammar tables until your eyes glazed over. You know the rules. You feel like, okay, I should be able to speak now. And then someone asks you a question, and you just freeze. The words get stuck. When they finally come out, they feel slow, kind of clunky, totally unnatural. Because you're in your head, translating every single tiny piece of the sentence. It's absolutely exhausting.
But here's the thing, and this is the good news. That wall, it's probably not your fault at all. It's actually a problem with the method we've all been taught. For way too long, we've been told to treat language like it's two completely separate things.
Think about it like this. The old school way has you building sentences one tiny brick at a time. Here's a word, here's a grammar rule, now put them together. You're constantly stopping, looking at the mental blueprint, trying to figure out if you're doing it right. Of course it's draining. It's slow, and it feels completely unnatural.
So let's really dig into this old way, the bricks and rules method. What's actually going on there, and why is it so different from what we now know works so much better?
Okay, so check this out. On the one hand, you have the traditional approach. It's basically like having two separate buckets, one for grammar rules, one for vocabulary words. Your job is to grab from each bucket and try to assemble a sentence in real time. It's tough, but the lexical approach, it just flips the whole thing on its head. It says, hey, language is actually made of these pre-built grammaticalized chunks, so your goal isn't to memorize rules anymore. It's to start noticing patterns.
And that right there, that's the cheat code. The new way is all about these things called language chunks. So forget building with tiny bricks. This is like using big, pre-made wall sections to build your house. It's so much faster, way more efficient, and the final result? It just sounds right. It sounds natural.
So what exactly is a language chunk? It's really simple. It's just a group of words that native speakers use together all the time. So often, in fact, that our brains treat them like a single piece. You don't actually hear by the way as three words, do you? No, you hear it as one single idea. Same with how's it going, or on the other hand.
And these chunks show up everywhere. You've got your basic word partnerships, we call them collocations, like how we say heavy rain, not strong rain, or how we make a mistake, not do a mistake. Then you have all those everyday phrases that are just conversational glue, like by the way, or I'll be in touch. And my favorite, these amazing sentence starters, like if I were you, I'd, it's like a launch pad for your whole sentence.
Honestly, the best way to think about it is like a special move in a video game. When you pull off a combo, you're not thinking about the individual buttons, right? Up, down, punch, kick. No way. You've practiced it so much that it's just one move. Language chunks are exactly the same. You just execute the whole phrase, and that frees up all your mental energy to focus on the meaning of what you want to say. This all boils down to a really famous idea from a linguist named Michael Lewis. He said, language consists of grammaticalized lexis, not lexicalized grammar. Now, I know that sounds super academic, but all it really means is that the grammar is already baked into the phrases. You don't need a separate rule book. When you learn the chunk, you're learning the grammar for free without even realizing it.
Okay, so why does this work so well? What's the big deal? Well, understanding this is where the magic really happens. This isn't just some cool little study hack. It is a total game changer for how you learn.
Okay, 3 huge reasons. 1, you sound way more natural, like instantly, because you're using the exact word combos that native speakers use. 2, you become more fluent. And listen to this is so important. Fluency isn't about your brain working faster, it's about your brain having to work less. Grabbing a pre-made chunk is so much easier than building a sentence from parts. And 3, you just start absorbing grammar without trying. You learn the phrase, if I were you, and boom, you've just learned a tricky piece of grammar called the subjunctive mood without ever opening a textbook.
So, when you put it all together, you realize this is about way more than just a new way to study. It's a totally different way of seeing language itself. It's about shifting your entire mindset.
So the old way, the bricks and rules way, is obsessed with accuracy. The goal is to be perfect, to never make a mistake. And that's really stressful. But the new goal? It's just successful communication. Can you get your point across? Can you connect with the other person? That's what matters. It's about being effective, not being flawless. And honestly, being an effective communicator is so much more powerful than being a perfect one.
So let me leave you with this one last thought. Just think about how we use language online. Think about memes. Think about inside jokes with your friends. You learn these things, these super complex and constantly changing language chunks, and you use them perfectly, without a second thought. There's no rule book for memes, right? You just get it. So if you can do that, and you absolutely can, well, aren't you already a language pro? Maybe you've just been playing by the wrong set of rules this whole time.